Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Next Man Up. We have average guys sharing their average takes on all professional sports. Your host, Matthew Russo, here with Sean today and our returning guest, John Healy. Boys, say hello.
What's up?
What's going on?
We
Welcome
are
to the
here
chat.
to discuss the Champions League today. We are back on the soccer train. Champions League starts today in actually 3 hours, 20 minutes. So that should be interesting. We got a lot of good matchups coming up, especially today. Actually, specifically today, we have two very good matchups. But there's great matchups throughout the 2 weeks. But we'll start with today's matchups. First one, Red Bull Leipzig are home. They are hosting Liverpool. Liverpool slightly out of form in the league as opposed to Leipzig, who are relatively in form in their league, haven't lost in a little bit. Gentlemen, what do we think about this matchup kicking off at 3:00 today?
So obviously, I think Liverpool I think they're probably going to lose this game. I think Leipzig are probably the most systematically put together team behind like City and Bayern, because I mean their head coach Nagelsmann he's so good. And the thing about Leipzig is that there's not like one particular like top goal scorer on their team. It's really just like it's so systematic, and there's just goals and assists like everywhere you look. But I think that Leipzig will probably win this, just due to the fact that I think Liverpool won't be able to sustain because their defense. He's just gonna break them apart. And I know, like, since Leipzig was in United's group, that they're just so good tactically, and they're gonna press the entire time, so they don't really run out of energy.
I think the biggest question for this tie, like we know Liverpool's defense isn't going to do anything since they're missing their entire defense to injury. But Diat Upamecano, or however you pronounce his name, he just signed that pre-contract with Bayern for next season. Is he really going to have his head fully in this game, or is he going to say, you know what, let's get knocked out so I don't have to play against the team I'm about to go to next round?
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, I think Liverpool's form is going to show through these Champions League legs. Being away, taking the trip to Germany with all the COVID protocols, that's not great for a team that's already out of form. It's going to drag a lot out of them. Like you guys said, their defense is lacking for injury and for form. Unless Mo Salah ends up banging in a couple 2-3 goals right off the bat in this first leg, I think if Leipzig hold off for 3 points, or what would be 3 points, they get the win. I think they go on to probably take the leg and move on, unless Liverpool go back home and completely flip the script later in March.
Yeah, I don't see how Liverpool win this, actually.
I think
I
it's going to
think
be 2-1
Leipzig.
Leipzig.
I think Leipzig. I think this has goals. I could see being like an aggregate, like total goal score of like 7, 8, 9 goals in this, because I think Leipzig are just gonna, on the break. They're so good, just so good. But
Yeah, it's going to be. I don't. It's really gonna. Leipzig have to score. That's the problem here. So that's the big thing. If they can't muster goals, I mean, I'm sure they will. But if for some reason that they can't, because Liverpool come right out the gate and take all the momentum, they put one goal in like say the 20th minute. Maybe they put another goal in. Maybe they go two. They somehow go 2-0 up and flip the script. It's going to be a matter of Leipzig being able to come back and get those goals in, because they have to capitalize on that Liverpool defense. But I don't see it with Liverpool. I think Leipzig takes this. Moving on, next game today at 3:00, kicking off at the same time. You got Barcelona home at the Camp Nou against Paris Saint-Germain. This was going to be probably the most exciting matchup, I would say, except there is now no more Neymar da Silva dos Santos Jr. playing for PSG. So I'll open the floor because I probably have a little bias in this, but what do you guys think's happening with these legs? Because I don't think I don't think Neymar's eligible for either game. Correct?
He's definitely out for the first one, and he's a big doubt for the second one.
Yeah. So okay. So I'll open it to that.
I think this is going to be closer than people think because both teams are in transition. Because Barcelona, they're just a mess financially. They can't bring anyone in. They're trying to sell everyone that they can sell off. But PSG, they just brought in a new manager. I mean, he's great. Pochettino is a great manager, but has he had enough time to fully impose his will on this squad, especially without debatably their best player, who ironically is out for his sister's birthday once again? What a man. Every year. King. But I don't know. I think Mbappe is just going to run amok on Barcelona. I think we're going to get a wonder goal from Messi since I think this is his last year at Barcelona. He's going to put a nice wonder goal in. But this will be his Barcelona Champions League twilight farewell.
Yeah, the part of me wants Barcelona to win because I know if Barcelona loses, Messi is going to Man City, and you might as well write off the league for the next 2 years in the Prem. But I think Barca have not been playing that well. But since Neymar isn't playing for PSG, most likely for both the legs, I just think that attacking-wise, PSG is very good. Obviously, they got Mbappe and stuff. And their defense is pretty good. Kimpembe is pretty good, and their goalkeeper is obviously good. But I think Barca is going to run that midfield pretty easily, although they do have Verratti. But so I'm going to change my prediction. I was going to have PSG, but I think Barcelona is going to steamroll this.
Yeah. I'm picking.
It'll be close though. I don't think it's got goals in it, but it's going to be close. It's going to, I think, maybe like 5 goals total.
I'm picking Barca. They haven't lost in the league in, I want to say, 10 to 12 matches. They lost in the Copa del Rey, but they switch their lineup every time they play in the Copa del Rey. Just a matter of if they win or lose in that tournament. They only care about it unless they get to the final. They haven't lost in the league in 2 months. No Neymar. Pochettino is still trying to gather get his wits about him in France. He doesn't do well in the Camp Nou. Never has whenever he goes there. And I think I think Messi comes out and he bangs in 2 goals and he shows that he's not going to leave Barca silently. I think he's going to try and get this team, put this team on his back in a sense and give it a run and say, I'm giving you all I can for one more run, and that's it. So I'm going to take Barca slam dunk. I think they'll probably win 2-0 today, and I would say 2-1 at PSG maybe. And I think we're going to see a classic Messi performance where he takes the game over. But I mean that's a lot of bias coming out of me, but who knows? But I just think the no Neymar for PSG is just logical to think that Barca can handle their business at home, like they do historically all the time, and they take that at least the first game, and then having that momentum going into Paris, end up taking the whole leg. Let's go to the next game. That's going to be starting next week, or no, starting to Wednesday. Excuse me. We got Juve taking on Porto. Porto will be hosting the first leg, but guys, you can give your predictions. But I think Juve. It doesn't matter where the game's being played. It could be played in Antarctica. I think Juve would win the game. So.
GG's to Porto. It's great that you guys are getting the money for making the Champions League and you made it this far, but absolutely no way are they advancing past Juve.
Yeah, no, there's no shot. The only reason why I might watch that game is because Western McKennie's in there, and obviously as an American, I'm extremely excited. He's so good. He really is so good. I mean, he's like obviously I'm biased because I'm American, but he is really good. And I'd like to see him grab a goal and assist maybe on for the.
You get on the stat sheet.
for the legs. I mean, he has been popping up with goals and assists. Did you see his? What do you have, like scissor kick last
Yep.
game of the group stage? That was insane.
Dude's coming into great form. And if you're, we've been saying this off podcast for so long, but if you're an American soccer fan, you gotta love what is happening to the U.S. men's national team. It is looking absolutely fantastic for them.
This World Cup, I don't care. I just want us to get out of the group, and then I don't care what we do after that. I really couldn't care less. But if we just get out of the group, just get out of the group, and then whatever. But then the next one, that's when we
win.
Yeah,
that's when we host and we win.
Exactly, first ever.
Hopefully when that's happening, there won't be any of this pandemic nonsense and have to wear a mask to get into the stadium. We can just it'll go back to the past normalcy.
Oh yeah.
But let's go into the next game. Juve, like we all said, Juve taking over Porto. The next game on Wednesday is Sevilla. They're home. They're hosting Borussia Dortmund. Sevilla haven't lost in a month. Dortmund is struggling in their league. Even though Dortmund usually shows out well in the Champions League, regardless of their form in the regular league, in their German league. But guys, all up on the floor, who do you got, Sevilla or Dortmund?
Sevilla are a great Europa League team. They're not that good a Champions League team. I'm saying Gio Reyna takes over. Jordan Sancho, who? Eric Halling, who? It's a Gio Reyna game tomorrow, and he is going to put the team on his back. Sevilla, they're a very good team in La Liga. They're a very good team in the Europa League. They are not a very good team in the Champions League. Every year, they just get busted back down. So I'm taking Dortmund on this one, especially as the away team. They get a nice away goal. I like how that looks for them.
I think I was having a bit of trouble deciding who's going to win this game. But I think the Champions League comes down to big game players, and I don't see that many big game players in Sevilla. They got that Ocampos on the wing. They got some good defenders. You got the Kunde defender. He's pretty good. But I think it comes down to big game players. I think Erling Haaland, who's tied for top goal scorer in the Champions League this season, there's just too much firepower there. And Jadon Sancho, Gio Reyna, another American, that's why I picked Dortmund, another American. I'm a sap. I think
the Americans, Healy.
Oh yeah, gotta love it.
Out for the Americans.
And I think that Dortmund will win this game. I think it'll be interesting though, because I could see an upset. I don't even know if it's called an upset, but I could see Sevilla winning. But I think it comes down to big game players. I think Erling Haaland's just gonna take over the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I like Dortmund in general. Just the way they function as a club. They bring up young players and they just shine, and it's so fun to watch. So I'm biased in picking Dortmund because I don't like how Sevilla play. They're kind of a boring Spanish team in my opinion. But I'm gonna pick Dortmund as well. I think even though they might not have to win this first game at home. Maybe they get an away goal and go back to Germany and win it that way. I'm gonna hop on Sean's point. Sevilla are not a good Champions League team. Europa League, sure. Spanish League, sure. When it comes to Champions League, they are god awful. They lost to a Chelsea team under Frank Lampard 4-0 this past group stage in the Champions League, and Frank Lampard is now no longer the manager of Chelsea, and he still managed to absolutely thrash them. So they do not play well in the Champions League. So Dortmund may not win this game today away, but I think they'll get at least an away goal. And then they'll go back home to Germany and secure the victory. We'll move on to next week because they split the knockout stage into 4 and 4. We have Atletico Madrid, who are on top of La Liga right now, who are going to be hosting in Madrid. They're going to be hosting the Blues, Chelsea. I'll open the floor, but what I will say before I get your guys' opinions is that
I
I
want to hear you go first.
You want me to go first? So when they initially pulled this, I thought I didn't even know if I was going to watch the whole 90 minutes. I mean, I knew I was going to turn on the game, but I thought that I wouldn't have to watch the whole 90 after that, and then I might not even watch the second leg. Now that Chelsea are kind of they're maintaining some sort of form in their league. They've changed their manager. They're changing their formation type. I mean, Atletico Madrid are really good this year, so they're probably going to take the leg. But I could see Chelsea making it more competitive than I thought it was going to be when they initially did the draw for Champions League.
Yeah, so I think that before Chelsea had 0 chance. Now they have like a 30% chance. So
That's kind of where I'm at. I'd say 40, but yeah.
yeah, like listen, Chelsea have been doing. I've been their past 3 games I watched. They've been really good, but and they don't concede a lot, which is fantastic. But
Yeah,
the bad news is that Atletico, I think like a month ago they conceded like 3 goals from open play, and I'm like that's ridiculous. So I think, and it's not like you're gonna get a lot of chances, and with a striker like Timo Werner up top, don't fancy that, to be completely honest with you. But they're first in La Liga. I mean, Suarez he's just so good. I hate Suarez, but he's just so good. But I think Chelsea have put a good account. Like, I don't think there's gonna be a thrashing or anything. I think Chelsea have a chance, but I think this is gonna come down to Chelsea taking their chances when they're given to them, because they're not like when I watched them against West Ham the other day, like they had so many shots, so many chances, and they scored 2 goals. But like, you're not going to get that against Atletico at all.
right.
And
Yeah.
I also think that Chelsea is going to have to work hard off the ball defensively, because I think Atletico are just they're gonna keep the ball.
Yeah, you're not going to see a lot of goals in this
No.
2 legs. I don't think at all. I think the only way Chelsea stand a chance is if they end up with a draw away. They end up with a 0-0 or a 1-1 in Madrid, and then they can come back home and maybe flip the script there. That's the only way. Oh, that's the only way I watch all 90 minutes of the second leg, is if they come away with a draw. Because if they lose by more than 1, there's no going back with that defense. But Sean, I've talked enough. I want to hear your opinion.
Look, I'm a certified Chelsea hater. I don't like the club. I hate their owner. But I'm not going to say they're a bad team. They're a decent team this year. But a misfiring forward line, including American Pulisic, versus an elite defensive team like Atletico Madrid, who somehow have managed to get an offense that is firing on all cylinders, which for them happens like once every 5 years. I don't think Chelsea have a chance on this one. I think they're going to get blown out between the 2 legs.
You guys need an early goal. That's what you guys need. You in either game. So let's say you draw away, and then you need that early goal, because Atletico Madrid, the more it's like playing like a team, like a really garbage team in the Prem who just has really good players. So they set up the same, so they're super defensive. They try to hit you on the break, but they, instead of them having like Callum Wilson, like they have like Luis Suarez, and like, so but you need the early goal, I think, so you get Atletico out of that that low block. I think that's the way you do it.
Yeah, I agree. And to harp on your point from before, I think it's going to be, if Chelsea have 2 shots on target, one of them has to be in.
Yeah, 100%.
You have no shot. If you have 3 shots on target, guess what? 2 of them have to be in. If you have 4 shots, 2 of them have to be in. There's no. You're not going to get your share of chances here. It's you're going to get your 1 or 2 shots on net, and they have to be in the net in order for you to be competitive in the second leg.
And we're forgetting the fact that besides all of the defensive stuff for Atletico and the offensive woes for Chelsea, they have debatably the best goalkeeper in the world in goal in Oblak.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to get past him. He's the last line of defense.
Yep. It's gonna be a very big uphill battle for Chelsea. We'll see what happens. Maybe Tuchel has something up his sleeve that can keep them competitive. We'll move on. Lazio Bayern. Lazio will be home against Bayern. I think this is a slam dunk for Bayern, just like it'll be a slam dunk for another matchup that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But slam dunk for Bayern, guys. I'll open the floor. I think it's Bayern to lose.
Bayern are my prediction to win the Champions League. I don't think Lazio is going to give them any trouble. I think maybe Lazio gets one goal between the two legs. This is going to be an Arsenal versus Bayern type scoreline between the two legs. It's going to be like 9, 10, 11 to 1 between the two legs. Bayern are going to run rampant over him.
Yeah, I think I watched Lazio. I watched Lazio like a week or two ago. They were in the Italian Cup, like the FA Cup for Italy.
Yeah.
And I think they played Juve, and I was gonna bet on it, and I was looking at how many goals like they just do not score. They do not score at all.
No.
And when you're playing against slow Italian
their
teams,
only hope is Ciro Immobile. That's their only hope on offense.
Yeah, that's their offense right there. Bayern they're just too good. I don't see. I mean, God, Alphonso Davies is so good. Their attack is so good. Lewandowski is insane. And then when you actually do get the ball, you got to go past like Boateng and Neuer, and it's gonna be a massacre.
Oh, dude, and yeah, no. Well, this leg's gonna be a massacre. And honestly, Bayern are so good, and you can't help but you can't hate them this year either. You can't help but root for them because you have a guy that and I don't know if you guys saw, but David Alaba basically said today he's leaving, he's done after this season.
Yeah.
So maybe it would be nice to see him end up on top, maybe lift up the trophy for that team one time. He had a great career at that club. Nice to see him make one more run because he said they were trying to deal him and no one wanted to pay the price, and Alba wanted out anyways. So it'd be nice to see him make a little run. We'll move on. Atalanta are hosting Real Madrid. I don't have much opinion on this game. I basically have one take on it, so I'll open the floor to you guys.
I think that Atalanta, good team. Now, Real Madrid have a lot of major injuries. I think Ramos is out. Hazard's out. Not that he matters. Carvajal's out. So, like, they're not at full strength. But I think that Real Madrid will come on top. They're just big game players, you know. I just don't think that Atalanta will be incontestant, really.
Okay. Real Madrid are missing a lot of people. Like you said, Ramos, Hazard. They're missing a couple of their attackers. They're missing even more of their defense. Like their entire back line is hurt. They're missing a couple of attackers. Their midfield's pretty intact, but I'm going to say Real Madrid somehow find a way out of this just because they have been so good in the Champions League for so long. But I think this is going to be a lot closer than it looks when you first see Real Madrid versus Atalanta. Atalanta, for some reason, they do things against teams in the Champions League that no one expects them to. I think they're going to put up a big fight, but I think Real are going to overcome it.
Yeah, like you said, like it's going to be interesting. Like this is the one matchup that I think is the one that you would never bet on if you're a betting man. I think this one is the one you absolutely steer away from. Mm-hmm. Real Madrid's back line is in shambles. They can't score. They don't have Hazard. And Atalanta, I mean, I still think Madrid find a way out. I just think they end up managing the game better. I think it's just because they'll end up having a better manager that they end up seeing their way through this leg. But if Atlanta are hosting the first game, they score a lot. They don't defend well, but they can score. They put up a good amount of goals. And if they can get through that Real Madrid defense primarily before Real Madrid can slow the game down and maybe get a 1-0, 2-0 result out of them in the first leg, if Atlanta can score, maybe they end up taking care of business at home and are able to fend off Madrid because they're too injured. But I think unless they end up opening the floodgates with the goals, Real Madrid will end up managing to squeeze their way out. But I don't see either team going farther after that, honestly. We'll move on to the last matchup. Borussia Mönchengladbach are playing Man City. They are hosting the first overall team in the Prem as of right now. I'm sure, as you guys saw, I just put like an LOL next to the thing because this is another joke matchup. I mean, City for me. That's all I'm going to say. They're too good. Gladbach aren't good. So, your guys' thoughts?
This is like a game you see on FIFA career mode, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna send this. Like, why would I play this game? Like, why would I waste my 15 minutes of my time to play this game? It's garbage. I have City to win the Champions League as much as I hate it, because they're gonna win the league, probably win the FA Cup unless United could say something about it. They'll probably win the Man City Cup, aka the Carabao Cup, and then if they win the Champions League, I will probably cry in my room for a couple weeks. So yeah.
I like Gladbach, but they don't stand a chance.
No.
If I'm Gladbach, my goal is to get a single goal between the two legs so that I can say I scored on Man City. I think Man City are going to be the runners up to the Champions League this year. I'd love to see that, a Bayern City final. But Gladbach, they don't have a shot.
Screw the goal. Just get the ball. I watched them against Spurs. Spurs couldn't get the ball.
Gain a little bit. If you end up with 35% possession and maybe win that game, that's a victory for Gladbach. But that'll wrap it up for this episode of Next Man Up. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at NextManUp05. Go download SportsMe and follow us on SportsMe and Next Man Up Sports Podcast. If you want to go listen to us, we have the anchor down in our description. If you want to see our faces and hear us, you can like and subscribe to the YouTube. No Nick again, so there's no obnoxious stuff going on. So just like and subscribe to our YouTube. John, thanks for coming on again. Thank you for tuning in, everyone, and have a good one.